Welcome to the Third Generation Wrestling Podcast with your hosts, Eric and Rob.
All right. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a little bit. It's 3GW here to kind of do something a little different. Something we haven't done in a while. Back in the day when we first started 3GW, we used to do these weekly roundups. That was one of our weekly shows. That's how we kind of kept up with everything. But then the product dipped, and then the pandemic happened, and it was really kind of like, do we really need to cover this shit every week?
Right.
So, but now that we have audiences back, we're going to a live event pretty soon. All Out coming up.
Yeah.
So it's only fitting that we kind of slowly get back into this routine, and it's been a lot of stuff happening lately. Man, it's been a wild time to be a wrestling fan, to say the least. I mean, not only with all the, I guess you want to call them trades being made from, different promotions, and just all the upcoming events, and then booking decisions, all that. So we're going to talk about all that stuff. But first things first, Rob, how you doing, man?
Oh, man, I'm doing good. Doing good tonight. I'm kind of glad we're getting back to, at least for tonight, getting back to talking about the product, because there has been some interesting things happening and some interesting things to talk about.
Yep. Yeah. I think we do a pretty good job of keeping our finger on the pulse and kind of where things are. But I have to start with the most shocking thing that happened over the weekend, last weekend. And that was the release of Bray Wyatt from WWE. I can't wrap my mind around it. And I've been trying to read up on and listen to other podcasts and see if it was something on his end where he requested it. And apparently that's not the case. He was ready to make a comeback. He was ramping up to come back, and I don't know why they made that decision. But not only is the fan base outraged, the networks that WWE has partnered with, they're upset about the release as well. So, man, it's tough. I know you yourself didn't care for the second character he came up with, but you still wanted him to stick around and be with the company. So, I throw to you your initial reaction when you saw the news.
Well, absolute shock. We've heard about a lot of releases this year and some surprising names, but none more surprising than this. Now, as you said, and everyone who listens to this podcast knows, I am not a fan of The Fiend. I thought it was a stupid gimmick.
Gonna throw out them puppets.
Yeah, I hated the puppets. But look, with all that said, the bottom line is the character was over with the majority of the fans. It was huge. Now, you kind of took away some of my thunder, because my initial impression for this was maybe this was something mutual. We know that during his run as The Fiend, Bray has taken a couple of significant leaves of absence, both of them after losses to Randy. We also know about the loss of Brody Lee, his former partner, longtime friend, devastating loss to Bray.
Yeah.
And so I wondered if maybe Bray just wasn't in the right headspace. Maybe his heart, his head really wasn't in it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I still need to hear more. I'm not ready to put all of this on WWE. It seems convenient to say, okay, we've heard this thing about budget cuts. But I'm no financial genius, but I know you make more money with The Fiend in your company than you make not having him in your company.
Yeah,
and we all know
look at
Vince,
it from sorry to cut you off, but you look at it from a merchandise standpoint. Dude was pushing a lot of stuff. So it's a real head scratcher when you got a character like that has like what gloves, masks, belts, shirts, all that stuff. It's really a head scratcher.
Lamps. I mean, the dude was selling lamps, lanterns with his.
Oh yeah. The head.
Yeah, right. So I think there's more to this. I do not think it's as simple as Vince releasing him for budget cuts. Like I said, I think there's more going on with Bray. Maybe he didn't request to leave, but maybe Vince didn't feel like, dude, I need you. You know, we've got fans back. We're doing the biggest show of the year coming up, and I know you've had some outside of the ring issues, but I wonder if Vince didn't feel like he was all in. Maybe didn't feel like he was in the right headspace. I don't know. I have to hear more though.
I think from what I've been hearing that it actually is about money. Because you remember when AEW first started up, what was Vince doing? He was just rounding everybody up, paying these outlandish contracts to all these people. And well, now it looks like they're ramping up to sell. So in order to sell a part of the company, the bottom line has to look a certain way. I'm no financial advisor either. I just know that that's their goal, is to sell probably 50% to NBC.
And that may be true. But if I'm a buyer and I've done my research on this company, I want to keep my top performers.
Right. And that's why I mentioned that USA and Fox were kind of pissed that they let The Fiend go. And that's kind of the first one to be let go, where it was like, wait, what are y'all doing? Because, I mean, we have to have a bottom line, but we have to have an audience too.
I think there's more to this story. I don't think it's just about saving money. I'm not ready to put all of this on Vince and WWE. I think Bray, in some way, shape, or form, has played a part here. Like I said, the leaves of absence and the loss of Brody Lee, I think, has affected him. And I don't know how committed he's been to this character. And then we saw that a lot of people have made reference to the promo he did the night after WrestleMania when he lost to Randy.
Yeah, I sent y'all the clip.
Yeah, so was that Bray going off the cuff? I mean, my understanding is that Vince gave Bray total control over this character. I mean, he even had a Vince McMahon puppet with horns in the playhouse, in the funhouse.
Yep.
Vince obviously put his stamp of approval on all of this.
He probably thought the puppet was funny. He probably laughed his ass off at that puppet.
Of course. And so for Vince to do that means, look, I believe in what you do. I believe in what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So go with it. So now to then say, oh, Vince wants to save some money, so he's firing the Fiend. I don't buy that. That's just too simple, too easy. And I think Bray has something to do with it.
Could be. It would be kind of ignorant to make it all one-sided, saying it's just the company. I mean, while he hasn't come out and said anything yet, made a statement, it could he might have asked for his release. We don't know. But I also know that Vince said in a one of his meetings that he was more than willing to give AEW more talent. And everybody thought he was trolling or being funny, but he's clearly being serious. He does not see them as competition. He does not look at AEW as WCW. He views AEW as competition. He does not view AEW as competition.
And I believe that. And he's wrong about that. They are competition. Whether or not they overtake WWE, I think that remains to be seen. I think it could happen. But even with all that said, giving away talent, giving away, letting the Iconics go, okay? Even though I was shocked, letting Andrade, letting Aleister Black go. It's a whole new ballgame when you're talking about Bray Wyatt, a.k.a. The Fiend. That's a whole different ballgame. When you're talking about letting someone, he's one of your top 3 guys. You're talking Roman Reigns. I mean, if you're talking on the roster on a regular basis, okay? So you're talking Roman Reigns, you're talking McIntyre, Lashley, Charlotte, and then The Fiend is right up in there in your top 5 draws. You don't let those people go unless you have a very good reason. And I don't mean money. You make more money with the Fiend than you make without the Fiend. You don't have to be a financial or an accountant. You don't have to be no financial expert to know that.
Nope, you don't. I mean, it's a real, like I said, it's a head scratcher. I mean, we'll probably never know 100% the reason why. We're gonna get WWE side of the story one day, and one day we'll get Bray side or Wyndham Rotunda. That's his real name.
Right.
All right, let's keep it moving here to your boy, your GOAT, the 16-time world champion. Ric Flair asked for his release, and it was granted the same day. Now, obviously, he's not an active wrestler on the card. He doesn't wrestle. He doesn't really even manage at this point. He's kind of one of those veteran deals where we bring you in when we want you or we need you, and you kind of get paid based off your usage. Well, he asked for his release, and he was granted. Come to find out, he was not a fan of the whole thing they were doing with Lacey Evans. He hated that. And I'm sure, like other people, he either wants to be able to do other things outside of wrestling or do more in wrestling. At 72, I don't know why you want to do more. I mean, just, dude, go chill out, do commercials, do movies or something. I mean, as long as he's been out of wrestling, he's still a pop culture reference that is alive and cool. Like, people find him hip. He's cool. He's I mean, Migos made a song off of him, you know? So,
Right.
I mean, he's
Right.
very current. I feel like he's almost wasting his time just doing wrestling stuff. He could branch off and do so many other things. Yeah, that's just where I look at it. I mean, it's not, to me, it's not that big of a deal. I would like to see him do other things. You know, he's got the personality to do TV commercials and TV shows, you know.
Well, he's already doing Car Shield.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, he's been referenced in hip hop songs for at least the last 20 years. And then he finally got his own song. So
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. You know. But again, that's your guy. Throwing to you.
Well, look, I'm only sad to see him go because I won't get to see him regularly on WWE television, which is primarily the wrestling that I watch. I'm going to be watching more AEW because we have a show coming up that we're going to in person. I'm excited about it. So I'll be watching more. But let's face it, Flair's better days are long behind him. He really wasn't bringing much to Raw, SmackDown. I mean, just his presence, okay, he's Ric Flair. So just having his presence there adds something. I heard the same thing you did about the storyline with Lacey Evans. He was not crazy about that. And he also said that Charlotte wasn't either. To tell you the truth, I really didn't have a problem with the story. I found it funny. But apparently it was something he was uncomfortable with, which I find kind of unusual. I mean, Flair's been in this business for a long time. He's been part of some crazy storylines now. He's a lot older now. So maybe there's some different perspective, which is good.
It's very good. I mean, and
Yeah.
Flair in the 80s would be all over this thing.
Oh yeah. Oh man, he was the 60-minute man. Yeah, Flair did Kiss Stealing, Wheeling Dealing. Yeah.
60-minute man inside and outside the ring.
Exactly. So, with all of that said, not a big loss really. And look, would not be surprised to see him show up in AEW, okay? He was great friends with Dusty, all of those older guys, Sting, all of them, DDP, they all loved Dusty. And it's Dusty's kids are part of the ownership there. I don't know if he'll be there long term, but at some point, look, I'd bet money he's going to show up in AEW some way, sometime. I don't know if it would be on a permanent basis, but we're going to see him there in some capacity.
Okay. So I got to ask you, do we get the reuniting of the Four Horsemen?
I mean, why not? Why not? You've
Well,
got.
they only have Tully, Arn, and him. That's only 3. Who was the 4th?
I think, was it Malenko, or was that
Oh
later?
yeah, oh yeah. Well, he could be one. Yeah. So there you go. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, they could do that.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping we don't see Flair fighting for number 17. Just leave him outside of the ring. Look, let him take a bump here or there. But even at 72, man, do you really want to even be taking any kind of bump?
No.
But yeah, we're going to see him over there at some point doing something.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see him September 5th. Who knows, man? I'm psyched about this card because there is so much set up to happen at this show.
Yeah.
I'm excited about it.
Well, that's a perfect segue to talk about Rampage, which is also in Chicago. And I did try to get tickets. I did. Myself and Doc are going to go. But, man, and Book even sent me a code, a pre-sale code, because the tickets went on pre-sale last Friday. By the time I got on there, the cheapest ticket was $400. I was like, yeah, that ain't going to happen.
You know, man, you've got to be careful. Were you trying to go through Ticketmaster?
Yeah.
See, that's the same way I did with All Out. And you can buy secondary tickets or you can buy standard. You got to make sure. I did the same thing. I got my hands on a pre-sale code. They were going on sale to the general public on a Friday. I purchased them on Thursday, and I had to keep – I almost gave up, but I kept trying. I eventually got them. I got them at face value. You got to be careful with Ticketmaster now, and I'm not going to bash them or say anything negative because I'm not going to try and get our little podcast in any trouble. But you just have to be careful how you go about buying your tickets when you're on their site.
Well, that makes sense. I think you're going to be the designated ticket buyer on the team.
Yeah.
You got us tickets for, like you said, face value. And what they're going for now for All Out is outrageous. It's about to sit at the tip top is about $400 on StubHub.
Man, it's crazy. I mean, I'm damn near tempted to sell my ticket, but I'm not though. I'm so excited. No. We're going to go. But that's when you see the prices that they're going for. You're like, wow. I wish I would have bought a couple of extra. That's what I wish.
Future reference. We know what to do.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So yeah, Rampage. There's this huge rumors. Honestly. What do you think? Now, obviously, the two names is CM Punk and Daniel Bryan that are coming to AEW. Is there any chance that they and what would happen if CM Punk did not show up? You've been to a Chicago show, so you know.
Look, Darby Allin did a promo. I think it was the last week or the week before, where he referenced
last week,
where he said, mention the best in the world. Now, look, any wrestling fan with even a little piece of a brain knows exactly who he's referencing when he says that.
Exactly.
So, AEW is doing a whole week in Chicago. They're doing Rampage. I believe they're doing a Dynamite, and they're also doing All Out. CM Punk is going to be at one or all of those shows. You cannot go a whole week in Chicago with everybody assuming it's pretty much a done deal that Punk is coming to AEW. No matter how secretive they've tried to be about it, the secret's out.
Right.
You're in Chicago for a whole week. If we don't see CM Punk there in some way, shape, or form, it's not going to be nice for AEW.
They will burn the UC down. The Madhouse on Madison will be no longer standing. Listen.
Yeah, it's not going to be good. And I think they're smart enough to know that. I guess my only question would be, do they save it for All Out? Do they save it for the pay-per-view? Or do they have him come out on Rampage and maybe set up something, a match for All Out?
If you're smart, if I'm the booker, I'm going to say if you're smart, because you could go by several different ways. If I'm the booker, Punk ends the show. I send my people out on the biggest high possible. I don't even have him speak.
Which show?
Rampage. You don't sell out the United Center, which is the biggest venue they've ever rented. Period. It holds 23,000 for a basketball game, and I think about 17,500 if you got to cut off half the arena for wrestling. So, yeah, you got to do it. You got to do it. And I think if I'm the booker, I'd have him come out last or during the last segment. And I wouldn't have him speak. I would have him get physical, maybe do a GTS. Cause what's his name is at the company too? The other guy from New Japan. I can't think of his name. Kenta. The Kenta?
Yeah, used to be Hideo Itami in NXT.
Right. And they both use a GTS. So I could see Kenta having a match, and then he comes down and gives him the GTS, and the crowd goes nuts. And he opens up his hoodie, and it's a shirt that says All Out or something like that. That's what I would do. I wouldn't have him talk yet. I would just give the Chicago crowd what they want. Let them hear Cult of Personality, and go off the air. Keep people coming back the next week. Hook them. You got to hook them.
And that is true, I guess. And this is the premiere episode of Rampage, correct?
Right. And it's only an hour. The broadcast is only an hour. I'm sure they're going to have wrestling that's not going to be televised at the arena. I mean, you don't rent the United Center for 1 hour. That's
no. There'll be some dark matches. Maybe they'll record some stuff for AEW Dark or something. I don't know.
Right. So, yeah, but the broadcast is only 1 hour, which is, to me, smart. WWE, wake up. Nobody wants to sit and watch wrestling for 3 fucking hours.
No. I mean, obviously, for whatever reason, they're I guess USA Network wants them to stay 3 hours because that's their biggest show. But it's too much.
It is. It really is. See, and then here's the thing we run into real quick. The whole thing with Hangman Adam Page. Now everybody thought that he's gonna win. They're gonna win that whole 5-on-5, and Hangman's gonna get his AEW championship match, and the Dark Order gonna challenge the Young Bucks for the tag titles. Not to be. As long as Kenny Omega is champion, Hangman cannot challenge him, and Dark Order cannot challenge Young Bucks. So, who does that leave to challenge Kenny Omega that would make sense for essentially their biggest show of the year outside of Double or Nothing? I mean, Double or Nothing and All Out are their biggest shows. Kind of apples and oranges. I might give the nod to All Out because it was the first AEW show, but do you put Punk in a championship match right out the gate, or do you put Christian Cage in that slot? I mean, they've been telling this story with Hangman. It's baffling to me that you would drop that, and we're a month away from the show.
Well, I'm with you on that. I don't know if this is just a hell of a swerve by AEW, and somehow, some way, Page is going to work his way into the main event. But from what I'm reading, he may not even be on the show at all. Not only is he out of the main event, he may not even be on the show, which is, like you said, just baffling to me. I really don't understand. So to answer your question, who takes on Omega? Christian Cage, not a big fan. I'm a big fan of Christian as a tag team partner to Edge. Individually, not a huge fan. even though he's been gone for several years, if you're asking me what would I rather see, Omega versus Cage or Omega versus Punk, it's not even close. It's Kenny Omega, so-called best in the world, against the man who claims he's the best in the world. I don't care how long he's been out of the ring. Okay? That is a marquee match any arena in the world. And that's the one I would rather see.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. I'm not one that and we're gonna get to it, but I'm not a fan of somebody coming back and immediately getting a championship match. The only person who's done that in recent memory, where it made sense, was Roman Reigns. Because
what about when? So we've seen that happen. I mean, like your guy Goldberg has gotten a couple.
But
of
I don't
shots.
like it though.
No, but look, when he beat Brock, didn't you pop for it though?
Okay, think about this though. He beat Brock one-on-one. There's no title involved. And then he eliminated Brock from the Royal Rumble, and he won the championship from Kevin Owens. So he built to getting that title. This is, I've been gone from wrestling since 2014, and I'm getting a title shot right out the gate. That's a bit much. I mean, like I said, with the Roman thing, he actually surrendered his title, and Braun took it, and then Braun beat. Oh no, he didn't surrender it. He surrendered his opportunity, and then Braun went on and beat Goldberg. Goldberg's lost his last 3 matches, but he's still getting championship opportunities. So it's like, well, as big of a fan as I am, I just at this point it's like, well, you're not gonna win, and we know what your contract is. It's 2 matches a year. It's just match number 2. Why are we doing this? Why didn't y'all just book Big E and Lashley? It would have been way better.
What if The Rock were to come back and challenge Roman for the title?
But that's Mania.
What difference does it make, man? This is all out. This is their Mania.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I'm not saying, look, is it the best booking? No. Okay.
No.
But I'm just telling you, I'm not a big Christian Cage fan. That match does not Cage versus Omega. That does not excite me in the least.
No, I agree.
But Punk and Omega, yes, that excites me.
I agree with you. I just AEW had this. They set this up, at least in my mind, that they weren't going to do WWE type stuff, meaning bring in the part-timers, bring in people that haven't been around forever and give them championship opportunities. They have a win-loss record set up for a reason. Meaning whoever has the best record at the time, they get their number 1 contender because that makes sense. It's like they're throwing all that out the window now, and they're pushing all the talent that have busted their butts to build this company up. And now they're going for the star power. I'm not saying that that's wrong either, because eventually you do kind of have to go, well, your record is this, yes, but looking at the numbers, you're not as big as a draw as we think you or where we want you to be. Nobody's going to draw more than CM Punk over the next month. Nobody. Not even Roman. If CM Punk's come back to WWE and with Roman in the company, Punk would still be the bigger draw, period. So it would be the most marquee match so far this year. And honestly, I'm not mad about it because I have a ticket to the show.
Right. See, here's my thing. Do I think it will be Punk versus Omega? No. I think they'll find a way to put Punk in a match with a high-profile wrestler that he can beat.
Yeah.
So I don't think it'll be Omega. But then that still begs the question, who does Omega face now? And I guess like you, look, Christian Cage doesn't excite me, but maybe it excites the rest of the AEW fans. Not me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's keep it moving right along to WWE. Man, building up to SummerSlam. Get to these last couple topics. Obviously, the two big marquee matches, well, three really that are kind of set in stone. We'll start off with last week's SmackDown. Man, like I know this was what they were building to. We all knew that this was going to be the main event. Cena, Roman. You don't bring back Cena not to do it. Obviously, I'm not stupid. But this was the sloppiest, laziest, and you dragged Finn Balor into this thing and made him look stupid. That's where I have a problem. Like, Finn comes out there, and to be honest, I was actually thinking, well, maybe they'll do a triple threat. Maybe they have Finn sign, Roman signs, and Cena wheels his way into the match too. It's a triple threat. I actually think a triple threat match would be brilliant between those three. And I actually was enjoying the promo that Roman was giving with Finn. He was giving Finn all the props in the world. He was putting him over. He was like, "Look, I respect you, dude. You that dude. I know what you can do. I'm not taking you for granted. But at the same time, all that being said, I'm going to smash you at SummerSlam." And I like Finn's rebuttal. Oh, I'm bringing the Universal title back to NXT. I'm digging this. And then, of course, homeless Baron Corbin comes out, and then we get Super Cena coming out, and not only signing the contract, but spelling it out in all caps, his last name. Man.
Look, here's what I didn't like about it. We all knew from the beginning, when you're bringing John Cena back, we all know the match is going to be Cena versus Reigns. So I even try to swerve us away from that.
Exactly.
I even try to convince us. Yeah, I mean, we all know what the match is going to be. So to come up with this whole silly storyline about Roman challenging Finn and going as far as the contract signing, and then, oh, wow, I guess anybody can put their name. Like, I guess if you and I jumped in the ring and put our name on that contract, yeah we could have wrestled Roman.
Where was the rest of the fucking locker room then? That's all it takes.
Yeah, is that how it works? Because then why doesn't everybody from the locker room just, during every contract signing, why don't everybody from the locker room just run into the ring, put their name on the contract, get themselves a title match? Well, it's wrestling we're talking about. Why are we looking for logic and things that make sense? But just the way it all played out, just garbage. And so if you're Finn Balor, you've got to feel like, wow, I went from wrestling Roman Reigns to wrestling Baron Corbin.
Broke ass need to shave his head, Baron Corbin.
And I believe it or not, I like this gimmick with Corbin. I think it's working, but I think Finn deserves better.
Yeah.
Than
That's like somebody giving you a lottery ticket for $1 million, and then they say, "Oops, my bad. That's not yours. Here's this $100 lottery ticket."
That's exactly what it's like. I mean, he's in the ring ready to sign a contract. It was just dumb. And so, look, the card is taking shape. I have to say, look, am I excited about SummerSlam? Yeah. Am I excited about the matches so far? Look, I feel like I know how all of these matches are going to play out. We're going to get to some of the other matches, but look, as far as Cena and Roman, look, am I excited about the match? No, but do I understand why they're booking it? Hell yeah, I understand it. Boy, and just as a quick aside, did you hear that SummerSlam is requiring everyone to wear a mask at the show?
Yes. So I anticipate that's going to be the case for us.
Yep.
So I am thinking ahead, and I went on ahead and, well, I don't want to spoil it because when y'all get here, I have some things for you in book. That's all I'll say.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So we'll be ready for the show.
Okay.
And just to piggyback, I don't want to hear nobody come up with this argument of, well, it's TV. They got to make time for TV. They got to have stuff for TV. That's why they give us the runaround. No. What did they do with Cena and Rock when they were building to that feud? We already had the match. They came out every week and just went back and forth, and it was all we needed.
Yep.
So
now both of those guys are exceptional at doing promos, so they could get away with that. With Roman and with Cena, obviously Roman's gotten better at his promos, but yeah, you're
he's
talking
able to be
to
himself now. Before 2 years ago, what Cena referred to, Roman had to be the babyface. He couldn't curse. He couldn't say. He damn sure couldn't say missionary position.
right.
So I think it's Roman. I'm just being an extension of myself now. I'm playing everything cool, and I really enjoy the fact that all that went down, and he didn't move a muscle. He just sat there and watched it all happen. Like, damn. And that, I think there's a lot to that. It's a lost art of not overacting all the time, overselling everything that happens, and just sitting there and being subtly pissed off and gritting your teeth like, I can't believe this bullshit just happened.
Yeah. See, I like the way Roman does it because, like you said, you can tell that under it all, he's just pissed, but he's not overreacting like a petulant child or anything, making himself look weak. You can tell he's not happy, but it's just better the way he goes about it. The heel character, I don't know why they waited so long for it. The heel character works so much better.
So much better. I mean, he's having, like, you could tell, not only is it working, he's having so much fun with it. That it's almost like he has to keep himself from smiling. That he's loving it so much. But I love it.
I do too. I'm
really
still
do.
waiting for that promo. It's coming. It's coming sometime. I'm waiting on it.
This would be the perfect time to cut that promo.
It would.
With this
maybe,
feud.
Who knows? Maybe Friday night. Who knows?
Yeah. Okay. The other match that we have set in stone is this triple threat match between Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, and Nikki A.S.H. for the Raw Women's Championship. What did you think of that street fight, no holds barred, whatever that match was on Raw? I thought it was outstanding.
Man, it was physical. I mean, and Charlotte, I said this, Charlotte is so great at what she does.
She is.
And I'm not backing off of what I said. One of the best, male or female, one of the best doing it today. The way she plays that heel character, and this is your champion. This is who you want as champion. Yeah, she's just so great. But Nikki, I don't know how she's doing it, but she is selling this hero gimmick. I'm not saying I like it. What I'm saying is somehow, some way she's making it work.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, I'm not going to do any predictions. We'll probably do a show for that. I'm not going to make any predictions.
Right.
But what I will say is with it being a triple threat as opposed to a one-on-one, I think that's better for Nikki. I'll say that.
Yeah. I'm enjoying the character. I'm glad that she is getting the opportunity that she's getting, and I think it's well-deserved, and she's running with it. She's not holding back. She took some nasty, but that table spot was nasty. And I think that she won clean. She beat Charlotte clean, and I think that it is a good look. Whatever happens at SummerSlam, no matter what, to me, she still comes out on the up and up, and it almost makes me sad because I see what they're doing with Nikki. And it's like she paid her dues. She did what she was asked to do. And now she's getting this spot. But then you look at somebody like Cesaro, and you're like, what is the disconnect?
I'll make it quick, but I'm disappointed in Cesaro. I really thought after the win over Seth at WrestleMania that they were going to do something with him. And then shortly after that, he lost to Seth. And I remember Book said that, I think they buried him. And I disagreed at that time, thinking, no, he's in a program with Seth, so that's a good thing. Seth is one of the top guys. But then I think it turned out Book might have had a point, because now you look at Cesaro, He's not even in the picture that much. I don't even think. Did he have a match last week?
He had a match with Otis.
Well, okay. No wonder I didn't remember. That's why I didn't remember. Okay. So,
Well,
yeah,
is it
sad.
because he didn't reinvent himself? He's kind of been the same guy, except when he was Antonio Cesaro. He was a charismatic figure. He wasn't just the mouthpiece guy that, just could wrestle. He was talking back then. That was years ago.
Yeah, but
But
see,
you
I'm
look
not
at
sure that's. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just saying, look at Nikki. She went from being her NXT character to following behind Alexa Bliss to now she's Nikki ASH. So I don't know if that plays a role where you can continually give creative events something that works. Because I guarantee you there's going to be Halloween costumes of Nikki ASH this year.
Yeah, I agree. I guess I just feel that I don't feel like Cesaro needs to reinvent himself. I think what he is just fine. Sometimes a character finds their legs in the ring. What he does in the ring should be enough. He can give a decent enough promo. The fans love him. They love the swing.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it is Vince is looking for or thinks that Cesaro is lacking, but he's wrong. The guy can get it done in the ring, and sometimes that should be enough. I mean, the art is wrestling.
But is he another Shelton Benjamin? I guess this is my question.
And that's fair. I feel like, believe it or not, I hate to say this because Shelton Benjamin in the ring is great, but I believe that as far as on the mic and charisma, I think Cesaro brings at least a little more than Shelton did as far as mic skills.
Yeah. But I guess, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think Vince looks at when somebody's music hits or when they come out, does the crowd get up? Is there something that the crowd can do to participate with the wrestler when they come out? And that's just not the case with Cesaro. And that's not the case with a lot of people. But when Nikki reinvented herself, she's a superhero now. She can go around. She can interact with the kids. Look at Rey Mysterio. He's always been able to interact with kids. Cena. But unless you're Roman, Cena, Charlotte, Becky, you got to have something to interact with the crowd. Speaking of Becky, props to Charlotte for getting through that promo and shutting that Chicago crowd down. Not many have been able to do it, but she stepped on them. She was not having it. So
I'm
kudos
telling
to
you,
her.
Charlotte does everything great. When you can shut down a Chicago crowd, I mean, yeah, there's nothing Charlotte can't do. She's just absolutely awesome.
For real. And last but not least, of course, we kind of talked about it a little bit already. We got the promo segment with, I don't know if he banged his head again on the locker, but this Goldberg Lashley promo, surprisingly, he was over. They were chanting Goldberg.
I don't know why people are surprised at that.
Well, one, it's Chicago.
What, Chicago hates Goldberg?
No, but they're like the heel town. We like heels here, so you would think they would be more for Lashley. But also, people are like, okay, if Goldberg comes back and fights somebody that's not a champion, everybody's cool. He came back to fight Dolph. Everybody was cool. Came back to fight Brock. Brock wasn't champion. Everybody was cool. But when he comes back to fight champions, is when people have a problem. But they were 1,000%. They were hyped to see Goldberg. And honestly, I was too. I mean, dude, they had to have given him more time and notice this time around. He is bigger than he was last time he came back. The last few times he came back, he is substantially bigger. And the thing I noticed, he's taller than Lashley.
Yeah.
So, I mean, now and I want people to paint that picture in your head why they keep bringing Goldberg back. because he is still a big guy. He still has that presence. Whether people, like he said, whether I'm 45, 35, or 105, look at me. I'm not the average 54-year-old. And he's not. Now, why I said I don't know what happened, whether he banged his head again on the locker before he came out, or whether he had too much to drink, he forgot his fucking promo. That shit was bad.
Man, it was an absolute train wreck. You know, look, if you're gonna bring Goldberg back, and I'm not saying they should, don't look. Talking is not his strength, so just don't have him do it so much.
Nope.
And I'm not going to bash Goldberg like some other people on this podcast like to do. Do I like the match with him and Bobby? Nah, not really. Not really. I think I know how it's going to go, and I think I know how long it will last. Hopefully these guys will just be able to make it physical and entertaining for the 3 or 4 minutes that'll last, maybe 5. But look, Goldberg, absolute icon. Okay, absolute icon. And he makes money. It's the same reason you bring a Cena back. It's the same reason you'd bring The Rock back if you got the chance. They're going to make money. They're going to generate interest, and the crowd will pop for it. Yeah. But is it a match I'm excited about? Nope, I'm not.
Well, I wasn't, but there's something about actually seeing them face to face and seeing those two big guys face to face that actually I'm intrigued. And I think he could have a longer match with a Bobby Lashley just because of Bobby's repertoire. He does big moves. He does the spear as well. You could fight on the outside. This could be a longer. When I say longer, I'm talking 6-7 minutes. Okay.
Okay, maybe 6 or 7. And here's to me.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Look, I'm not saying 3 or 4 minutes in this case might be bad. Look, when you've got two big guys, like you said, doing big moves, I don't really expect this to last long. Okay, I don't. So to me, as long as it's physical and it's what we would expect from these two guys, I don't care how long it lasts. Look, I'd rather have a 5-minute physical entertaining match than a 10-minute, Goldberg versus Saudi Arabia match.
Yeah.
Give me the 5 minutes of intense action as opposed to 10 minutes of garbage.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll go longer than 5 minutes. I think that you got MVP involved, and if Goldberg's son is there, I gotta imagine I don't think he'll interact. He's too young. He's only 15. But can we just say, good God, that is the same kid from 2016, little chubby kid that got in the ring with his shirt off. First of all, he looked just like his dad. Oh. Go back and look at Goldberg when he played football. They are twins. That is the same person. Number one. Number two, Gage has grown up. Like, I looked on Instagram, and there's all these comments that refuse to believe that's the same kid. I'm like, well, it's been 5 years. Puberty.
Yeah, man. Yeah, kids grow quickly at that age. I've got some grandkids, and they grow way too fast. But
yeah, granted, I don't think all kids change that much. Like, I look at my nephew, talking about Tay. I mean, he's, to me, had a slower burn than this. I mean, it's pretty drastic when you look at 2016 Gage and look at him now. I mean, that dude, he don't look 15. Honestly, he looks about 16, 17.
I think Gage has probably been in the weight room with Daddy, so that probably plays a big part.
Oh, yeah, he's definitely been in the weight room.
I think that makes a big difference.
He's a baseball and football prospect right now. Big time college prospect right now.
Not surprising.
But yeah, I mean, he real big. I mean, when Goldberg walked away and fist bumped him, like, oh, yeah, he's bigger than I thought he was. But as far as the match goes, I think it won't be that bad. The only thing I hope is that Goldberg does not attempt a jackhammer. I actually would rather see Lashley do the jackhammer too, because Lashley's been doing since this feud started. He's been using the jackhammer. So I would rather Lashley do it and then Goldberg just use the spear. He did end the promo on a good note. He did, and he lost his way, but he found it with that last line that, yes, I do live by the spear, but you will die by the spear. And I thought that was a good line. That'll be in the video package. So
yeah,
I don't think it'll be that bad. And honestly, after that segment, Raw, between that segment and the main event, Raw was still shit. It was still bad.
Yeah.
You got Drew McIntyre swinging swords and shit. Like, that's what they're doing with him now with Jinder Mahal.
Yeah. Before we get out of here, I am wearing her shirt tonight. Were you surprised at the turn?
I was. I did not, unlike, I guess, the rest of the world, I did not know she was coming back to SmackDown that day. I was watching. I saw the beatdown first, and it's a good thing she did come because I'm sorry. Zelina Vega's promo, terrible. Carmella's promo, ugh. And then they start beating her down, and then here comes Sasha. The very second Sasha hugged her, I said, nope. Don't fall for that. Don't fall for that. I already know what's going to happen. And
Sasha's done this many times. This isn't new for her.
Yeah, no. It just looks fake. I mean, she picked Bianca up and just started squeezing. I'm like, oh, yeah, no. I know what y'all about to do. She's in wrestling gear. It's going to be a tag match later, and she's going to turn on Bianca, and she did. Honestly, loved it. She should be a heel. She really should. So I love it. It should be the boss and Bianca, the rematch at SummerSlam.
Oh, it's got to be.
Because she's got to get her back for that whip.
Phew, boy. I tell you what, so far of the matches that, look, and it's not confirmed, but I think it's safe to assume it's going to happen. That's the match I'm most excited about. I'm excited about Roman and Cena, but like I said, I'm not going to make a prediction, but I'm excited because I think I know how that match is going to go.
It's a spectacle.
Yeah.
That's a spectacle match. You want those. You need those.
Yeah. Look, man, I completely understand why they're booking this match. I don't have a problem with it from a booking standpoint. You're trying to sell out. Look, we all know WrestleMania is the biggest card of the year, but not this year, okay? This is the first card in over a year at a stadium where WWE can have full capacity. So you've got to pull out all the stops and say what you want to about John Cena. I know he has his haters. I'm not as big a John Cena hater as most people. I get tired of people just hating for the sake of hate.
Right.
Dude sells tickets. He's a legitimate movie star now. He's got this Suicide Squad movie coming out. To me, that actually looks good.
It does look good, and I like James Gunn.
I'm gonna check it out this weekend on HBO Max. But so yeah, of course that's a huge match. You have to book that match. And look, I'm not mad about Goldberg coming back. I know that for the same reason they're bringing back Cena is the same reason they're bringing back Goldberg. And I know some people have a problem with always going to the well with the older legends, but look, let's face it. There aren't many new stars who are just as big as these guys. I'm sorry. Roman, Seth might be in that category. Charlotte is there, but
they don't have many draws. That's the problem.
They don't.
It's also their fault because they haven't made any new stars. Anytime somebody starts to get hot, they do whatever they can in their power to cool them off. The Fiend got hot. They cooled him off. Braun Strowman was hot. They cooled him off. Trying to think of somebody else. Kevin Owens at one point was building up steam. They cooled him off.
I mean, I see that point. I mean, I don't know. Look, first of all, I don't know if look, if WWE could just make stars, wouldn't they make everybody a star? You know what I mean? It's not that easy.
It's
I
not,
see what you're
but
saying.
when you put the fire out before it can really expand, then
There is a point there because I don't look. Like I said, I never liked the Fiend, but his booking. Look, you had the hottest character in WWE at the time. You put him in a title match against Seth, even though I thought it was ridiculous because the Fiend, how what had he done to earn a title match? I thought it was ridiculous. But if you're WWE and you make that commitment, well, you've got to be all in at that point.
right.
And then they had Seth beat him. Dumb. That was dumb. And they had to right that wrong with the next pay-per-view. It was stupid. So, yeah, I see your point. Sometimes, look, booking plays a big part. I'm not denying that. I'm just saying, also, I believe that some talent is just undeniable. And I just don't think there are many stars on the roster at that level.
Yeah, you're right. That's also a true statement. There are some people that just no matter what you give them, they'll make it work. But there's also, to me, what happens more often than not is you get somebody like Keith Lee, who Roman put over, who Brock Lesnar put over.
Right.
And instead of giving him putting him over and giving him, a bunch of squash matches, building him up to the championship, you put him with Randy Orton right away, and you put him with Drew McIntyre right away. And then he started losing. Then he goes away, comes back. First time he comes back, he loses. So that's what I mean. He could have been what he could have been. I won't say it's too late or it can't happen for Keith Lee still. I think it can. But they have just got to do better. And the reason why I was so pissed off, and this is the last thing I got, is you put Cross versus Keith Lee. Two people that cannot lose. It's just like, and then you have you have the NXT champion losing on Monday, and he's supposed to show up on Tuesday and be the champ, the big badass champ. But in Vince's mind, NXT isn't real. Doesn't matter. Doesn't count. It's just there. It's this entity. And if Vince had it his way, I guarantee you, he wouldn't even let Cross come out with the NXT championship on.
Well, I wish they'd make up their damn mind. Is Cross, is he Raw or is he NXT?
Oh, I meant to bring that up. So Cross posted on his Instagram, he said that it was actually his dream and his goal if he got to WWE. He wanted to work multiple shows. So he wanted to be able to work NXT, Raw, and SmackDown. So that part he wants. I don't know if the booking is what he wants, but he has admitted that he wants to be able to work multiple shows. So this is actually partly his doing.
Okay, well, look. Then they're booking him the way he wants. Now, obviously, look, he'd like to win all of his matches. I get it. I wasn't mad about the Jeff Hardy thing because, look, you've got this tough guy. It's his first night on Raw, okay? You're coming from developmental, and you're in the big leagues, and you're taking on – look, I know Hardy is way past his prime, but he's a legend. So, the old vet got over on Cross. It wasn't clean. So it wasn't like he beat Cross straight up. He cheated. I didn't think that because what I thought would happen and what I think was going to happen if Hardy hadn't got COVID, they were going to do the rematch next week, and I believe that Cross would have smashed him.
But you also got to look at it like he's the NXT champion. This isn't just Joe Schmo. He's the champion of your third brand that they remember they hammered this home. The NXT was not developmental. It was the third brand. What the hell happened to that?
I get it, but Jeff Hardy is still a multiple-time champion, future Hall of Famer. I know he's past his prime, but the cagey veteran pulled some shenanigans and got over on the cocky young buck. It was a glitch. I didn't think that was a career killer.
Not a career killer, but if I'm a cat, you see, it's difficult because you and I watch NXT.
Yeah.
I have to think about the ones that don't, and they see this big guy coming in. They've seen Jeff Hardy on main event, and then this guy comes in. He's a champion, and he just lost quick.
But it wasn't clean. Once again, I say it wasn't clean. If it was a clean win, to me, that would have been terrible booking. But the fact that Hardy, who was the face in the match, cheated, to me, that was good booking in the favor of Cross. He didn't lose clean.
I guess, but I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't like them booking them together whatsoever. Stop putting Lee and Cross. Stop putting people that need wins. They both need a win. Stop putting them together. How many people are on Raw? This is a Star Wars effect where you have this huge WWE universe, but you keep putting out the same motherfuckers every week.
Man, the roster is not that big. You look, man, how many people have they released? The roster's not as big.
You got
then you've got injuries.
You got
you've got Miz running around in a wheelchair.
Right. But you got Angel Garza, Humberto Carrillo, R-Truth, Reggie. All these people that Keith Lee could be squashing and that Cross could be squashing and beating. That's all I'm saying. There's hell, Cross could beat Kofi or Xavier Woods. Keith Lee could beat Kofi or Xavier Woods, and I wouldn't care.
Okay, so then here's the solution. Get rid of the 24/7 championship and just let all those guys competing for that just get squashed by that. I'd be happy with that.
Well, I'm just saying you don't have to put the two guys that need to win against each other. So now somebody's got to lose.
Right, but they both have lost. I mean, look, it's a good rivalry. They've had good matches. Cross got over first time. Lee got over this week, and I thought they were both decent matches. So I see what you're saying. I guess I just feel like, I don't know, man. A loss here and there, I don't think it hurts anybody.
It doesn't, but it doesn't hurt to me when you have already established. Like, Randy Orton could lose a million times, and nobody's going to bat an eye. But when you're trying to make it to the top, and they book you one way here, and then when you come over here, though, you have to be at the bottom. I get working your way up the ladder, but at least make me look decent. I don't know.
Well, I don't know if it's true what I've read, and I don't know if you've read the same thing, but I've heard that part of this story with Cross is that he'll face some adversity on the main roster, and then Scarlett will come up and things will change.
That's what I was about to say. Why is she not with him? The reason why I said so long ago that they're main roster ready was because they look so beautiful together. And without that entrance, it's still somewhat there. There's just no smoke and mirrors. It's just him with the music standing there, which is still okay. It's just not the NXT entrance. And obviously, Scarlett is a huge part of the gimmick. Huge. I don't know. I guess I have to wait and see what happens. But yeah, I'm passionate. I'm trying to get with the new talent, and the newer talent is Keith Lee, Karrion Kross, and they're fucking them both up, and I'm pissed off about it.
Well, like I said, I'm going to take a wait-and-see attitude. Look, I think we have to be encouraged that, first of all, they're bringing some of these new guys up to the main roster. Vince has said he wants bigger guys. He wants newer faces. He realizes, look, you can't hitch your ride to the Miz and Morrison, and you've probably gone as far as you can go with New Day. So yeah, you need some fresh new faces. So I agree, the booking could be better, but I guess I'm just not ready to get too angry yet. Let's see where it all goes.
Okay. Last thing, and we're gonna go just real quick off the top of your dome. Adam Cole's contract's coming up. Does he stay with WWE or does he go to AEW?
Man, it seems perfect to go to AEW. His girlfriend's there, but I think he stays with NXT, WWE.
I think he'll stay and he'll come to the main roster and they'll figure out something for him to do.
But will there be a place for him there? You think he's too small?
I don't think he's too small. Vince is gonna think he's too small. So, but I think they'll find something creative wise for him. I think he'll fit in. I think he'll fit. I think he'll stay. I think if he wanted to go, because technically his contract ended at the Great American Bash and he stayed. So that just tells me he's just negotiating.
Yeah. That's
what that tells me. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate y'all for listening, watching if you're on YouTube. It's a lot of stuff going on with WWE and AEW right now. Promote yet again. Myself, Rob, and Book, we will all be at All Out September 5th. And we can't wait. It's our first live event. It'll be us three together, our first live event together, but it's our first live event from 3GW since NXT TakeOver War Games. It was in 2019. So this is 2 years in the making, finally getting back to a wrestling event live and in person. Can't wait. It's been too long. I made some purchases today for the show. I'm getting amped. I still gotta get a few other things. I can't wait. I'm going all. I'm no pun intended, but I'm going all out.
Going all out. All right. I'm with you.
So we got that coming up. Check out our YouTube page at Third Gen Wrestling on YouTube, and you can listen to our show on all the major platforms except Spotify for some reason. And then follow us on Twitter, podcast_third, Instagram at Third Generation Wrestling Podcast. We got a couple recent movie review, Fighting with My Family, myself, and the Doc made his return last week.
Welcome back, Doc.
Fight for the Fallen, and there's Money in the Bank post-show audio and video up as well. So make sure you check out those shows. Subscribe on YouTube, hit that like button, subscribe and share, and we appreciate y'all. Ambassador, take us home.
Hey, well, you said it. Appreciate y'all listeners. We want to hear from you. And look, I'm going to have to hammer this home because, look, please get your vaccines. We thought we had this virus beat, but some people chose not to get vaccinated. And so now we're seeing cases of this new variant surge. And because of that, we're probably going to be required to wear masks at All Out. We thought we were done with all of this. So folks, please, if you can get this vaccine, we can beat this virus and we can beat the various variants. Get vaccinated. We wanted life back to normal, but it's not normal yet. So please get your vaccinations. Thank you.
Yes. Appreciate y'all. Speak to y'all again in a few days. Check us out, like I said, on all platforms. Take care. Take care of yourselves. Take care of your loved ones.